made accusations about high-up politicians and particular individuals. So he was everywhere. But there were no journalists at the ICSA hearings apart from someone I know called Mark Watts, and I was there as well. So there's information out there, yeah, that we're not hearing.
Mm-hmm.
So I've done everything I can on a small platform that I've got to try and get this information out there. But do I think Edward Heath was a paedophile? Yes. I've spoken to Michael Tarrager and somebody called James Reeves, Mike Veal, Chief Constable of Wiltshire Police, who led the investigation into looking into whether Edward Heath, the former Prime Minister, was a paedophile. I know about him, and I know what's happened to him since he tried to lead that investigation and lead the truth. Was Edward Heath a paedophile? You asked me what I can say, and say with conviction. I believe with conviction our former Prime Minister, Edward Heath, was a paedophile. One other thing I can say with conviction, I believe BBC Panorama have produced programmes that have displayed very dodgy journalistic ethics, and they've had an agenda, and they have presented lies. And I'm happy as a journalist to come forward and say that. They could sue me if they like.
Yeah.
I've got enough evidence to support those statements.
Has anybody ever came forward, a friend you worked with, and says, what the fuck you doing? Take a step back. You're going crazy.
No. My friends talk to me about Waitrose closing or who's going to win Britain's Got Talent.
See, I would say they were brainwashed more than anything. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, we'll touch on the Syria thing again. For people who don't understand that, some people call that a false flag event, where they'll set up a war zone, or they'll set up a school shooting where they say people have been murdered, and what happens is, like stuff like Saddam Hussein, Gaddafi, they said Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction, but again, they never ever found any weapons of mass destruction. What they wanted was the gold, poppy fields, money, oil, stuff like that. So when you watch the news, people believe what this mud sticks.
Well, look what happened in Saudi Arabia and the journalist that was murdered in the embassy. You know, I believe, I'm going to be wrong, but in Saudi Arabia you can be stoned for being gay, and they're our friends, yeah? Mm-hmm. We're not going in to overtake that regime. What about all the... But we did with Hussein. I see it, right, these countries all around the world, because I studied anthropology.
What's that?
That anthropology is the study of culture.
So
and
smart.
Preservation of whatever society you want to create. Mm-hmm. So I live on a street, okay, and there's all these different houses and all these different families in these houses. And I think to myself, that could be Syria, that could be Iraq, that could be Afghanistan. Now, there may be a dictator in that house that I don't like, and I don't like the way he's speaking to his children. I don't like the fact that they have no freedom. But do I have a right to knock down their door and shoot the father? It's not up to me, and it's not my choice. That is a society and the system that they have created. Do I go in? And what is my real motive actually to go in? You know, is it to do with the natural resources of that country? You know, have I been given some kind of motivation? Mm-hmm. I was talking to somebody who knows someone who works at BAE